Right, look, Fox, put it down.
Can't. I've got to take this. Oh, it's just hide behind this wall. I can't get him. Oh, little headshot.
If you don't turn that off.
What?
Yeah. You know what? You left me alone last week.
No, they're on.
Then I come back in this week, and I'm on my own again. So you know what's going to happen now, isn't it? Bye.
Oh no. Oh, fudge. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching this week. We'll see you next week. Bye. He's doing it as well. He's gone off. Hey, everyone. Foxx from eModels here. Hello. Hello. Yes, I was a little bit absent last week. My apologies to Evie's there. I can see him. I can see him out of the corner of my eye. Hello, Ted. Yes, apologies to everyone for my absence last week. Literally the morning of, I think it was the morning of, was it on the Monday that I kind of texted you and said everything had gone wrong? I can't remember.
No, I think you gave me a couple of days notice.
Oh, it was Sunday, wasn't it? Yeah, basically Sunday night I had some horrible grinding and screaming noises from my computer and everything died. So it wouldn't turn back on again. And I've got something in my eye. So my computer was completely balked last week. And I only got a chance, my very good friend Mark came around and built me a new one basically yesterday. So all being well, thankfully, as of yesterday evening, I'm now back. Yes. So apologies for last week. And obviously apologies that I had to miss Telford because yesterday was the only day he could come and do my PC. Murphy's Law. It's the day I was going to go to Telford.
Yeah, you had your chance at IPMS and you blew it.
I know. I was gutted.
Yeah, but yeah, you missed a great show. And hi to everybody that I met at where did I go yesterday? Yeah, Telford.
Thanks.
Yeah, hello to everybody that I met at Telford yesterday, and those that missed me or couldn't make it, unfortunately. But never know, we might have something arranged with eModels for next year when you will be able to find us a lot easier. So yeah, well, more about that as we progress through the next few weeks and things like that. But,
yes, that should hopefully be something arranged, unless of course Pete gets distracted by something shiny and then forgets, or something else comes up.
So yeah, it was a fantastic show. Anybody that went, brilliant. Yeah, Zadster said Cumbria to Telford is a fair trek, and it was a fair trek. 300 and something, 300 plus miles on a round trip. Yeah, it was along with it, and back in the dark.
Yeah, Ted and I were going to car share, so I was going to meet Ted near me, which is halfway for him, and then we were going to car share down. But I didn't get to go, and I was gutted because I enjoyed it. Like last year was my first Telford show. Well, first of that show. I've been to the exhibition centre before for other stuff, but I was really gutted because I was really looking forward to it, and I had money to spend. Well, I did until I had to spend money on a new computer. I would have had money to spend on things, but there's no buying of things.
I was just watching. Sorry to interrupt there, Fox, but I was just watching the chat go up, and there's I'll let you pronounce his name, but he says hello from Russia.
What, Mike Mount? Oh, that's not. That's in Cyrillic. I can't read Cyrillic.
Is that what you call it? Yeah, but
Cyrillic. Yeah, it's the Russian font.
Yeah, whoever you are, welcome.
Hello from Russia. What is your name in non-Cyrillic, so we can call you by name?
Yeah, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, it's nice to see somebody. Yeah,
welcome.
Yeah, we had somebody from Australia the other week that won a prize, and but Gav had to cycle all the way to Australia to take the prize on his bike.
Yes, poor little thing on his little butcher's bike and everything.
On his little butcher's bike with a big crate in the front. Yeah, the prize is in that. So yeah.
Oh, it's Vladimir. Hey, Vladimir.
Hi, Vladimir.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, nice. Great.
Vincent over at Mr. Loves Model Making says that he did about 1,000-kilometre round trip to get there, including the boat. Him and TK came together.
Yeah, nice to see them. Yeah.
Yes, I miss meeting TK and Mrs. TK and Vincent as well.
Yeah, which reminds us, the guys that are in the chat, they're your moderators tonight, and I'll be looking after you. Any problems? It's a nice family show. Keep it all nice and happy and friendly, and we'll just get along fine. But great. We should be really eModels International live stream now, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should speak many languages. I've got rusty French, and that's it. And a few words that I've learned from playing like Medal of Honor. I've got
English, a bit of Mara, and most of Lancastrian, but that's all I've got.
Yeah. Cumbria is kind of a different language, isn't it?
Yeah, and the first question of the night from Ron Mack.
Is that from Ron?
Yeah, that's it. Wants to get into Warhammer, but don't know what's the best starter kit. Have you got any ideas on that one, Fox?
Oh, yes. I spotted that. I've already highlighted it on my chat. Yes, little nephew is 14. He wants to get into Warhammer. I would probably say it does mean, obviously being in close proximity to many Warhammer kits and not spending your mortgage, which is difficult. For funsies, it'd probably be good to start off on. It depends if he wants to do Warhammer, like the mythical sort of, goblins and elves and all that kind of stuff, or if he wants to do Warhammer 40k, which is the grim dark future. Warhammer 40k is a bit more fun. It might be worth starting off on some of the vehicles rather than the figures, because you can have fun painting the vehicles. Painting figures takes a bit more practice, so you don't want him to try and do that and get discouraged. So I'd say pop along and have a look at some of the tank kits. They've got some really simple little tank kits and the vehicle kits. They're quite nice. They're dead simple to build. They're not got millions of figures, so you're not going to be struggling with those. And you can just have fun with them. And they introduce you to how you build Warhammer kits and how you can paint them. And just give that a try. Try some of the tanks and things first. Something like that. Tanks are the simpler vehicles. And then work your way to figures. Because the figures are easy to build. They're just quite challenging to paint if you're just starting out. So you might want to get used to using the paints first, whatever paints you're using, and then get onto the figures. Because the figures are awesome. I have to tell you. Warhammer model kits are some of the best sculpt model kits ever. The ones that Games Workshop make. The sculpting on them is absolutely divine. It puts to me into shame.
Yeah, I think for a young kid as well to get into something like that rather than the sort of aircraft or tanks and things like that. It's more in the sort of knowledge range. Is it right? Knowledge range or something?
Yeah, it's in that kind of circle of.
Yeah, it's more than what they can relate to. So yeah, they're more into that. It'd be interesting if it's something they like, they're more likely to stick at it.
Yeah, and don't forget, of course, one of the advantages as well with things like Warhammer is there's always the other sort of spin-off from that. If you're going to Warhammer store or if you're getting it from, you'll be meeting other people who make the same things, and there's always the possibility that you might then get interested in the actual tabletop game, which can be. I've yet to try it, but from what I've learned, it does seem like incredibly good fun. I've watched some matches, and it's like I really want to try this out.
Yeah.
So it's also a good backdoor to building up your models, and it may be that at a later time he decides, I just want to try playing a game. So brilliant idea. It's fun. It's all armor and stuff. I'd recommend I'd say probably the Warhammer 40k first, because that might appeal to a young boy. Tanks and things like that, and soldiers and stuff, and lasers and aliens, rather than the fantasy stuff, which is a bit more. I'm not a big fantasy fan. It's all la-di-da knights, and I'm not into that.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, if he does some stuff, if he does paint it and that, get it on the eModels gallery page as well, because that's for everybody, beginner, professional, young or old. We want to see the work. It'd be great to see it. Whatever standard he's doing, get it on there. Let's have a look at it. It'd be brilliant to see.
Yeah,
it's one of the things that I noticed at Telford yesterday. Actually, Airfix have a take and paint stall, and it was full of kids, which was brilliant to see, because it was just simple starter kits, and the kids were painting these aircraft. I'm not sure what aircraft they were, painting them all colours, but they were enjoying it. And if they have something that they can take away, I saw one or two kids outside the venue as we were leaving, and they had these little hand-painted aircraft in the hand, and obviously proud of them and taking them up to show mum. So yeah, brilliant. Get them in there.
I saw that there last year. It was quite good. These tables full, because I'm used to seeing like Gunpla shows in the US and in Japan, where they have like big sections for people to sit and make Gunpla kits that they've either bought or they get free. So it's nice to see that in the UK in a traditional model show, a sort of build and paint area was quite nice.
Yeah, brilliant.
Vincent over at Mythos Model Making also answered the question. He angles more towards some figures and the Age of Sigmar sets if he's into the fantasy stuff.
Yeah, it's great. And nice to meet you, Vincent, as well. Yeah, Vincent was there yesterday.
Yes, I didn't meet Vincent. I didn't meet Vincent or Benoit or TK or Mrs. TK or Chris or Paul or you. Oh, so frustrated. But you can tell us all about it in a bit anyway.
I will. We'll tell you. Yeah, we'll mention it as we go through that, just to really make you jealous and things like that.
Yes. Phil Lewis says, to be honest, Ted was slightly out of focus when I bumped into him at the show. That's because you bumped the lens.
Yeah, a lot of people said they couldn't find me. That's probably because I wasn't in focus. And they couldn't find me out. Yeah, but yeah. Right, Toby Page said it was his first time at Telford. He did meet me, and I give him some stickers as well. Yeah, that's a lot. You see, at the show yesterday, a lot of people were too British. They were too English and didn't ask. And they were told if you wanted a T-shirt or a sticker, you had to ask.
Mm.
But I did eventually get leave without any t-shirts. People.
Yes, although it could be because previously you've mentioned you only got like the triple extra large sizes, and they're all like, I'm not fat, I'm not taking that.
I'm not really that big, honest.
Vincent says he took a picture of us. He means you and him, and he turned the entire picture blurry.
Yeah, it's an effect.
Well, just a walking Photoshop filter, aren't you, Ted? You're a bokeh filter, basically.
Yeah, it affects everybody. It's an aura I have around me. Yeah. Oh, right. Carrying on down the chat, we've got another question there. I found a way to highlight the questions, so I've just seen.
Oh, yeah, you just highlight them.
Yeah, Graham Young.
Oh, don't forget, folks, by the way, if you really want to, we do have super chat. You'll see at the bottom of the chat there's a little dollar symbol. You can pay a little bit of money if you wish, and your comment will be, your question will be highlighted so we can see it really obviously. If you do have a question, if you're not doing the super chat, it's completely optional. Super chat, you don't have to do it. If you don't want to do super chat, just do your question in all capital letters. Yeah, so we can see it, because the chat will move really, really fast and we won't see it. So do make sure to either do it in caps or hit the super chat button, and then we can't possibly miss it because it's a big square that comes up.
Yeah, and it really is. We will make an effort to answer the super chat question. Yeah, or for those of you that are not in chat, but do have access to an email, you can email ted@emodels.co.uk, and hopefully I'll pick it up on my phone in time and we'll answer your questions that way. I do have one or two this week on the emails as well, so hopefully I'll get a chance to get through them.
By the way, as well, if anybody's watching this via the eModels website, so you've gone to emodels.co.uk/live and you're watching it on the player, if you want to join the chat, the live chat, which is full of all our friends in chat, click on the little YouTube icon at the bottom of the player screen, and that will take you to the YouTube page where you can access the full live chat and you can join in.
Yep.
It's a madhouse. It's worth coming along just because
it's worth coming along. Yeah, but we do apologise. The chat does move very quickly. If we do miss it, we do apologise. But if it's a really important question to you, just keep typing it in. Eventually, hopefully, we'll see it.
Yes. Got a question from Keith Denny. Do oil paints damage the bristles of brushes?
I think all paints damage bristles of brushes, don't they? That's why you've got to take care of your brush.
Yes.
Clean your brush thoroughly.
I'll get it.
I've got some
this time.
Oh, I've got some now.
Yes. Most paints will not necessarily damage the brush, but they'll always wear it down slowly. So as long as you're cleaning the brush thoroughly when you finish using it, then your brush will last a long time. The tips and tricks for brush maintenance, the two things that tend to happen are that your brush tip will splay out, so it'll go from a nice point like that, and it'll go where the bristles were like this.
Go sort of like that. See how that
was? Well, that's kind of splayed anyway, but yeah. Your bristles will splay out. That happens because paint gets down between the bristles, dries out, and pushes them apart. That's why that happens, and that's one of the few things you can do. The other reason you might see, say, bristles coming out of a brush is because hairs are falling out, because the glue is giving up, because you've been rinsing it in warm or hot water. Always clean your brushes. If you're using acrylic, for example, use cold water. If you're using oils, you can use oil paint thinners, and they'll be absolutely fine. I find if you're using isopropyl alcohol, rinse it in water afterwards, because that can tend to dry it out. Treat your brush like hair. You want to look after it. So what you want to do is make sure it's always clean. Store it brush down. If you've got the little plastic tube that goes on the end of the brush, store it brush tip down so the water can run out and not collect at the top of the bristles. And if you can get yourself some, I've got the Masters brush cleaner.
That's the one I've got as well. It's brilliant stuff.
I don't know if eModels actually carry it, but you can find it basically.
I think they carry an Abtalon one.
Yes, I think they do carry it. If there's none on there now, it probably will be soon if Peter's watching this. But yeah, a brush soap of some sort, which is when you finish, you rinse it in water, you work it into the soap, give it a good rummage, and rinse it off again, and that just gets all the paint residue out. So just make sure you're using the right thinners. So acrylics and things is either alcohol-based thinners or water. Enamels is oil paint thinners, which are basically mineral spirits. So you could use terps or white spirit, but they're a bit harsh. Or get yourself some artists' oil paint thinners, odorless thinners. And oil paint's exactly the same stuff, so enamels and oils are the same. And just make sure you're not storing them bristles down unless it's got a cover on it. You're washing them at the end of every use, and always try and get it back to a point. And just look after it. If they're dirt cheap brushes, they probably won't last very long anyway, so don't panic too much. If it's like a £25 Winsor in its Newton Series 7, yeah, you will take care of that.
Yeah, you want to treasure that,
Yeah.
And also don't overload your brush. Just put the brush. If you want more paint, get a bigger brush.
Yes.
That might sound crazy if you're trying to paint, I don't know, eyebrows on a 1/35th scale figure. But if the more paint you get, the more paint you can get in your brush, the easier it is sometimes to apply the paint.
Yeah, when you're using a brush of any kind, this is a big fat brush here, but I'll just so you can see it on camera. If I was getting paint on the brush, I'd try and get it to about here. I wouldn't get more than that much paint on it, because again, you don't want paint going up here into the ferrule, because that's where it gets stuck, and if you can't get it out, that's where the bristles start to spread out over time. So you're really only getting about halfway up the bristles anyway, and if it's not enough paint on there, get a bigger brush. That's really soft. I like that. I'm just going to sit here and just
yeah, moving on.
Yes.
I did see a question a little bit earlier from Graham Young. A question: he's been told to clean his models with alcohol before he paints them. If so, what alcohol do I use? And where can you buy it from? Well, you don't need to. It's often a misconception about washing sprues and parts before you're painting them. Years ago, yeah, that might have been the case. A lot of kits then had release agents to get them out of the mold, to release them from the molds. These days, most manufacturers don't use that anymore, and it can be painted straight away. Just a decent primer will often do the job.
The other reason not to get into the habit of using alcohol and stuff is A, it'll be expensive in the long run. Some plastics, notably Bandai, but some others, Bandai who eModels will be stocking soon. Yes, hello. I got that in again. Notably Bandai, if you clean those in alcohol, they'll just crumble. So some plastics don't take well to alcohol. Some people like to wash them in just dish soap, as the Americans call it, or washing up liquid and water, warm water. You can do if you want to, but like Ted says, you don't need to. The only time you ever have to wash a kit really is if it's like a 1980s or 1970s kit that's been in your loft for 30 years. You may as well just go ahead and basically just get it in some slightly warm water with some washing up liquid and a soft toothbrush and just scrub it. You don't really need to, but it doesn't really harm. Or if it's a resin kit, you must always wash it like that. That will have mold release agent on it. Resin kits you must always wash, but normal plastic kits you don't. You're just wasting your time. It's a big myth. Unless it's a really old vintage kit from 30-40 years ago, trust me, it's a big pain in the bum.
Yeah, you don't need to do it.
Andy Butcher says, will eModels have Bandai in stock before Black Friday? I don't know. I have been in conversation with Pete, and I know what's coming. Well, yes, I do know what's coming, and I know what's happening. I just don't have a time scale on it. So hopefully, you never know, possibly.
Speaking of
kind of awesome.
Yeah, if people don't know, 10 days time. Is it 10 days? Counting. It's 10 days.
20 something.
Yeah, it's 20. Yeah, it is.
We're really great. We know all.
we know everything. I think it's 10 days time. It's Black Friday. Not this Friday. Next Friday. It's Black Friday.
I say not this Friday. Next Friday. You buy one, you get one. No, you don't get.
You buy one, you get one free. So if you're watching this on Saturday, it's next Friday. If you're watching this before Saturday, it's a week on Friday.
Yeah. Well, you've just confused everybody now.
Yeah, so it's Black Friday. Some great deals coming up at eModels. And I saw James May at Telford yesterday.
Now, you've done it again, Ted. I bet everybody in the chat will now think you just said James May.
James. Yeah, I saw James May. He's a friend of mine.
You did that to me earlier on when we were talking about. You saw James May? No, James May.
I saw James May and his lovely wife at Telford, and he said, "Wow, Black Friday, Saturday, it's busy. They're going to work hard on Saturday." Yes.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Pete Mate obviously is the big boss, the governor, the god of all things.
Yeah.
Obviously, we get his commands from on high. James Mate is the manager.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Gav Mate, John Mate. Who else is there?
Yeah, Gav Mate's the guy on the bike, isn't it?
Yeah, Gav Mate's the butcher's lad.
And there's John.
John Mate, yeah.
John Mate.
There's a couple of other people I can't remember their names. I do apologise.
Yeah, if they're watching, we do apologise. Is
it Gail? Is it Gail?
I can't remember. We'll have to ask Peter for a list.
Yes, we do need a list because there's all the ones we know, and then there's the outliers who you.
Yeah, we'll ask him for a list.
The ones that work hard in the background that aren't the people at front that just drive the nice cars and
Yeah. We'll have to give them, as I say on the radio, we'll have to give them a shout out.
Yes. There was a question that came through. Michael Brown says, "Is that all Bandai or just Gundams?" Initially, I don't really want to say. Initially, let's just say it's just Gunpla for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are certain things that for British stockists it's really hard to get, like Star Wars. So don't hold your breath for Star Wars, because that's not something you can officially get in the UK unless you go through back channels. So, but initially, as far as I'm aware, it will be a whole mess of Gunpla.
Yeah, we're not sure when it's going to arrive, but we know there's obviously lots of people in Japan putting stuff on pallets and wrapping them around with that cellophane stuff and finding an airplane to ship it, and then a truck and everything else. So, yeah. So it'll be some time. There's a couple of other questions in bold there coming on. People are asking about how's the U-boat getting on. The U-boat is progressing. Look, it's all starting to be glued and things like that now.
Do me a favour, Ted. Sorry to interrupt. Just do for the people watching what you did for me earlier on tonight when you pulled up that piece of hull. Remember my reaction when you pulled it up, and I'm like,
this one.
Just to get an idea how big this U-boat's going to be.
Yeah, this is the. I tell you what, I'll get the other piece of hull. It's the same size.
Because we know it's a big U-boat, but I'd forgotten when Ted showed me this, and I was like, "Holy cow!"
Yeah, this is the grey one, so you can see this a bit easier. So you start at the bottom and you keep going, 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 and then you get to the end of it, and then there's this bit that goes on as well. There's that bit that goes on there as well. So it's sort of, I can't get it in shot, can I? Can you see that?
It's bigger than me telly, Ted. It's bigger than me telly.
There you are.
That's even bigger than Pete's ginormous telly that he watches us on.
Yeah, can you do one of them 3D things where it could sail towards you?
I think you've got a kink in your hull there, dude.
It's kinky hull.
Yeah.
For now.
So I just thought I'd ask you to share that, because I know a lot of people have forgotten exactly how big this U-boat is. It is enormous.
Yeah. Yeah, but carrying on for that, yeah, it's a big kit. And I am on with the engine room, and just before I left to go to that place down south, I was doing some photo etch, and quite a significant part in the engine room. It's an engineer's desk, I think. It's built out of photo etch, and I can't see it in there, but it all fell apart. So now I've got to find a way to scratch build that bit, because it's not a piece you could leave out. You can actually, it's a significant piece. You can see it at the front of the engine room. So I've got to rebuild it in plastic now. I think I'll build it out of plastic, see if we can salvage it and then get that on. I have started building the videoing it, because what I'm doing this time, I'm doing the weathering for the engine, and then I'm going to blat on, get the rear torpedo room done, get the sections together, and then I can get onto the outside of the hull. I probably won't bother filming the aft torpedo room, because it's just the same as the front one, really. And then we're not waiting too long, and we get some good weathering and painting done. So that's how it's going on.
I really can't wait for when you work on the outside. That is where I'm going to be. I mean, I watch everything anyway, but I'm going to be like, I need to watch this.
Yeah, so that's it. Right, I'll just stream. Go on.
There's a very quick question from here from Farnacle. When we were talking about you only need to wash a kit if it's like 1 million years old. How can you tell how old the kit is? If it's an Airfix kit and it's like £3.50 and it looks like it's painted and it's World War II, it's probably about 40 years old. Often I'll have a date in there though, either on the instruction sheets or on the box or on the molds themselves. Somewhere on a part it might say copyright 1965 Airfix.
Yeah, and there's a website somewhere. I think it's Scale Model Mates or something like
Scale
that.
Mates.
Scale Mates that you can put the kit into, and I think they have a database of dates of kits on there.
Yeah, the only exclusion to that really is if it's a re-release of an old kit, because it probably won't have been produced the same way. So
yeah. Yeah, sometimes they rebox old kits, don't they? They start reproducing themselves.
But they'll use they'll use old toolings but modern presses, so they won't.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I've never washed it. The only kit I've ever washed is resin, and I've never had problems with paint or primer. So
yeah. Yeah. Oh, we've got a blue. We've got a blue chat there.
Oh, Gareth, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gareth. It's very good for you. We had a great. I had a great time at Telford.
I didn't have a great time at Telford because I wasn't
having a great time at Telford, but everybody that was there was having a great time. And yeah, a big shout out to all those folk I have met, and I see one or two people are saying that they met me at Telford. Yeah, I met that many people. I can't remember you all, unfortunately, but it was good to meet you.
Go on then, Ted. Let's get out of the way. Let's do your Telford talk.
Yes, yeah, go make yourself a cup of tea and I'll talk about Telford.
I'll just sit back a while and cut a switch or something.
That actually brings me to one of the questions that came through on the email.
Let me guess. Where are you? Are you near the such and such stand?
Yeah. Where are you? Says, yeah, it's for Paul Stewart. Where are you? Yeah, I'm over here. A couple of Telford-related questions for you, and I might fill it in. Are there any kits that piqued my interest for me after the U-boat? There wasn't anything particularly new on display this year. Certainly Trumper didn't have anything particularly new. They had some new kits, and I think eModels have a lot of them in stock as well. Nothing was there that sort of stood out and thought, yeah, I'll have to build that. Nothing on the other stalls. I didn't see anything really that sort of did pique my interest this year.
What, you weren't tempted by those Eagle transporters then?
There was a few nice ones. There was a few kits for sale. I'm thinking that next time after the U-boat, I'm going to go a little bit smaller, maybe down to 1/35 or something like that. I have a couple of ideas going around in my head at the moment. I won't say what they are yet in case they don't come off. But no, there was nothing there really that sort of struck and stood out and sort of said, build me, like the U-boat did last year. Because you were there last year and you know what my reaction when I saw that.
Oh yeah, you were like flipping wobbly at the knees and everything.
It was like Peter getting a delivery of Bandai, you know.
Yeah, getting hot flushes, and like I did when he said he was getting Bandai. I'm like, what? Another question from Paul, did any of the displayed kits give me inspiration or ideas for how to improve my skills? They always do. You look at a kit, you look at the work of some people that they've done, and you think, how do I do that? And that's a good thing about Telford, because especially on the group stands, there are guys that are sat behind the stands, and you can say, excuse me, how did you do that? And they'll tell you. That's one of the great things about this game. Nobody really wants to hide the secrets of how they did stuff. They enthuse about the kit, the model, and they're more than happy to tell you about it. If you ever go to any show, it doesn't have to be Telford, but any model show, I encourage you to ask these people, how did you do that? And they'll tell you, and you can learn lots from it. I don't profess to know everything. I'm always on the lookout for how to find new ways to do things, even finishes. There was some fantastic matte finishes on some armor and some trucks. And you're just going to ask the guys, ask some questions, learn from that. The thing to remember is that often, because like Telford, you'll see like loads and loads of tables set up where it's from a particular, like, modeling club or something, or an association or group or something like that, and they'll have a few members there that have all the kits lined up. And there's nothing they love more than to actually talk about the models on display and their group, because they're sat there all day for 2 days on their little very uncomfortable deck chair with all the models laid out, and people just go past and they're, oh yeah, that's very cool, yeah, and you walk past. And if I was there, I'd be like, somebody talk to me, just anything, tell me about it. Hello. There's only so much on Twitter I can read. So yeah, engage them in conversation, chat with them, talk to them about the kits, and because they're usually from things like groups and clubs and like the lower east, the East Lancashire Model Builders Group or the West Sussex Aircraft Builders and things like that. They're all little groups, and they have these little tables, and there's some beautiful work on display.
That's one of the things about these shows. You'll often see, you'll go upstairs at Telford, it's laid out where the competition is upstairs and the competition entries are up there. But then you go downstairs to the group stands and you'll see better work on the group stands, and the guys haven't entered it in the competition. Yeah, they might not like entering competitions, or they might not think that their kit is good enough, but often this is as good, if not better, models downstairs on the group stands, and the guys just want to talk about them. Yeah, brilliant.
And then to do it. And the one thing that always gives me encouragement is when I went last year and I looked around all the competition entries on the the top table upstairs. It was a huge range from ones that were clearly built by somebody who is a professional model maker anyway, but that's a whole different argument. It doesn't bother me. But and then ones who are made by people who are obviously new to the hobby or are just learning, and there's a nice wide range of simple builds, complicated builds, scratch builds, simple paint jobs, superb paint jobs. It was brilliant. Everybody was just putting their work in, so it was a nice range, and you see that mirrored in the groups and on the tables as well. Some incredible work.
And finally, part of these questions from Paul: is there any aspect of model making that I would like to see to get more prominence at Telford or eModels show?
Gunpla.
Yeah, Gunpla, yeah, that's one of them. Sci-fi is
is what I mean.
I've been going in the last 3 years. This is the third year I've been, and the first year I think I sent you a message from Telford to say that sci-fi was very underrepresented in the competitions and the displays. In the 3 years, in the 2 years after that, since I've been, it has become more prominent. Maybe it's getting more prominence on Facebooks and chats like this, and people are sort of getting into it more and more. Gunpla is becoming more available. There was a few Gunpla kits as well. So yeah, that should take more prominence. I would also like to see, as we mentioned before, more prominence from the kids. There was a display called I can't remember what it was called. No, there was a display just for kids, a table where kids could go along and take their own models and put them down. I'd like to see more encouragement for children to get into it, and in that way, kits that have been made by the kids and not put together by the dad and then represented as a kit. As a kid's kit. So yeah, I'd like to see more young people be prominent in the building of any style of kit. That's it. Thank you for those, Paul.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. So that's the ones. I do have some more. I do have some more questions, but we'll come to them in a moment. The questions are coming through all the time now.
There's a couple of comments that came in talking about Telford. Vincent says, Ted, I don't know, nothing on the show floor could beat the landing craft diorama at the docks with all the tanks.
That was brilliant. That must have taken that guy 30 years to build. There was so many different individual models on that. It was a huge landing craft in 1/35th scale. And it was massive. Well, you can imagine how big a landing craft is. And there was a dockside area, and there was a loading ramp, and there was things on it like the WRVST truck and things. It was fantastic to see.
Yeah, Paul Stewart says, Telford really made me appreciate the benefit of even a simple diorama with a kit to give that little extra story and appeal to a kit build.
Yeah.
Just like what I do with my transit van. It's only a simple little diorama, but it adds so much to a model.
Yeah, it does. It's surprising how they do that. So brilliant.
Beyond Hope says Nationals have always focused on planes and tanks. Cars, sci-fi, and figures have struggled. I think they're coming up now, though.
Yeah.
Alan at Northwest Modeler says disappointed there weren't more cars. I noticed when I went last year, there were cars, things like cars and sci-fi. There really weren't many. It was a lot of tanks and planes and things like that. A little bit of sci-fi, but not much. And I don't remember seeing many cars last year either, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually thought as well this year. I didn't get up to see the competition entries until a little bit later on in the afternoon. And now whether people had cleared out and was heading home and taking the models with them, but I actually thought this year that the armour section was a little unrepresented as well. That seemed to be down, or maybe just the competition was down itself. But once again, it was a fantastic show of skills and kits.
Yeah, Beyond Hope asks if Airfix had their young builders area for kids, but I think you answered that earlier on.
Yeah, they did. Brilliant seeing that all getting a go.
Sharman Adrian says, and you know this, Ted, from experience, Lego and Airfix are making simple kits for kids.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah,
Lego involved in it. I think it's just that anybody can make Lego now because the copyright passed. So.
Yeah, well, it's a Lego style, isn't it? I think as long as you do, it's just clipped together bricks. I do have a confession to make to Skylar, my granddaughter, if she's watching or if she ever watches this. I do have a confession that I did forget to bring her home a Lego camper van, because the first thing she said to me this morning when she came for breakfast, "Did you get me a kit, Grandad?"
Oh, one of the Airfix ones.
One of the Airfix ones.
Yeah. Ted's granddaughter built a couple of those on Ted's channel.
Yeah, she loves them. Yeah,
Yeah.
She's made her own videos. She's doing one at the moment. Yeah, but I did forget. I was going to get her the camper van because that looks a brilliant little kit.
Yeah. Mr. Loth Vincent says there was no decent Gunpla or anything else Bandai. This was good for my budget. In the future, hopefully, if eModels ever do a stand at Telford, you can assume possibly then there might be Gunpla there. But again, if they ever do. Like we've said in previous episodes, having a stand at Telford is a massive logistical nightmare. So
yeah,
it might not ever happen. So
I think the plans are. I hope it doesn't mind it saying so, but I think the plans are that next year we eModels could have a stand, but it'll be more of a meet and greet stand for us eModel builders. You can meet some of the team from eModels themselves, some of the guys that work in the background. You come along and meet them. There might be a couple of like mugs and things on the stand, but it's, we'll have our eModel builds there as well, so you can come see us. So it'll be more of a meet and greet.
We'll have the eagle that I've got to take back next month sometime, and I really don't want to take back. I've not put it away for the last week because obviously I've had no computer. I haven't done any building because there's no point. I can't film it and because I need the computer. So yes, I've spent a week playing on the Xbox because there's nothing else for me to do. So I've been looking at this all week and just feeling sad every day, thinking I don't want you to go, but it has to go. Has to go back. Odo says hi, by the way.
Elsewhere, is that TK? Is that Mrs. TK? Elsewhere.
We don't know. Might be. I think it might be. Yeah. Actually.
She says Ted did Skylar like her gifts.
Yes.
I haven't given her them yet. She came in for breakfast this morning, then had to dash out from school. But I'm waiting to give her them, and I'll let you know what she says about them then. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for the gifts over the weekend.
Also, sorry I didn't get to meet you on Sunday. And Vincent and Benoit.
Right, Mr. Law said he's got a comment. Mr. Law said, "Please make Ted read that comment out loud, and we all know why." Yeah, it'll be is that the Edward had all the stuff with them?
Yeah, you got it right. Been practicing for weeks.
Yeah, I've been practicing for weeks.
Tony Black says, "Couple of mugs, Ted and Foxx."
Yeah.
I see what you did there. I like it.
Yeah, clever. Right, I've got another question. Yes. Came through on emails from Christopher Thompson. He's on about brass on the submarine.
It's brass.
Brass. Yeah, brass. Yeah, brass, lad. Brass. Am I going to use any of the aftermarket photo etch kits to detail the hull? I don't know if there are for this submarine any photo etch detail kits for it at the moment. I think it's probably detailed enough. Or are you thinking of the 1/72nd scale one, Chris?
Yes, there are a few. There are a few for the Revell 1/72nd.
Yeah, because there's a photo etch kit for that I know, but at the moment I don't think anybody is producing any more aftermarket stuff for this.
I mean, I imagine Edward might at some point.
Edward might.
Edward.
Edward.
I think the important question there is if somebody does an eModel stock them, yeah, yes, he may well. If somebody does an eModels don't stock them, no, he's not spending his own money on it. No. Same with me on the Eagle. I didn't spend my own money on this. So,
yeah.
I've got a question here from Sharman. Is it Gunpla or Gundam? And any advice on making an awesome kit? It's Gunpla, 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 which is a shortening of Gundam plastic model. And Gundam is the name of the franchise. It's the Gundam is the name of the anime franchise that it's all based around. So Gundam is the mobile suit, is the actual thing itself, and Gunpla is the model kit. It's the Gundam plastic models. So if you build Gunpla, you build Gundam plastic models.
Right. Yeah, I'm just working through the questions. It's moving quite fast again tonight.
Yes. The question on an email, Ted. Sorry.
Dave Barker says, question, just use nail powder on a kit with good results. Have I ever used a non-model product apart from 2 times more shine?
2 times more shine.
And what was the result? I can't think of any other household type non-model related products on a kit.
I used a bit of net curtain once to make a wire mesh to go over a window.
Yeah,
a little plastic Halifax card account holder, which I cut up to make a piece of corrugated iron.
I know that I've used a Sterident bottle I don't know who has false teeth in my house, but I had a Steradin bottle for some reason. And I cut that up and made a compass binnacle for a model boat I was building.
How about products though? Actually using a product. I've used like, not to actually make a model. I've used things like Goo Gone, which is a solvent. It's a solvent-based like gunk remover. I've used that. I've used Brasso to try and clear up clear parts, which didn't work.
Yeah, Brasso. I was going to say that I've used toothpaste to clean clear parts.
Oh, I've used toothpaste as for paint chipping before now. You used instead of masking fluid, put little bits of toothpaste on your model with a cocktail stick, let the paint dry, and just get a wet cotton bud and rub it off.
Yeah, nothing immediately springs to mind on that one, Dave. The obvious.
Apart from the pledge. I'm looking around my pile of products.
Yeah, I can't see anything either. I was doing exactly the same. I can't think of anything. I've lots of things for making things, dioramas and some bits and pieces and scratch and things like that.
I've done things like bits of twig and little pebbles from the garden. I know Carl from Make Models has done things like crushed up herbs for like leaf litter in dioramas. And
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, I've done that. When you're using herbs, as our American friends say, herbs. It makes a very nice smelling diorama for a few weeks. Yeah,
I did use some little bits of like dirt and stuff, little tiny stones and pebbles from the garden, I think, on the diorama once. And it was great because when I'd finished it, there was like a dead insect glued into my diorama permanently. It was like this little crawly thing was like.
Well, have a think about that one, Mike. On any other household products other than for making scratch building things.
Carl Whitfield says Edward have just released it as a big ED set. I assume that's referring to a big photo etch set for the.
Right. I haven't seen that yet. I'll have to look that one up.
Have a word with Pete, mate. And
going back up just underneath Dave's question, one for you, Foxx. How much sprue do you add to the extra thin glue to make the filler?
Well, you have gone far up on the chat, haven't you? I forgot all about that question. It depends. I took an entire pot of Tamiya extra thin, which I don't know why I'm showing the label because it's not on there. I took the entire pot and I got some bog standard plastic card, just sheets of polystyrene plastic card, and I cut little tiny snippets off. I can't tell you how much because I didn't do it scientifically, but what I kind of did was cut little bits off, put them in, gave it a good munge around, and then the trick is when you take the brush out, if this will come out on camera because it won't be in focus, you want it to kind of hang off the brush and eventually drip, but not just be dripping off the brush because then it's too thin. It's kind of, oh god, that stinks. Whew. It's kind of a do it by ear or do it by eye. It's ideally you want it to be quite thick so that when you put it onto your surface, say there's a gap here, when you put it onto the surface, you want it to go into the gap, but you want it to also stay bubbled over the top a little bit. So thick enough that when you pull the brush out, it just kind of hangs there for a second and then eventually goes and drops off. Wow. It can take quite a lot. It actually took me quite a surprising amount to get that quite thick. And your hand will hate you because cutting little tiny bits off plastic card with decal scissors for like an hour and a half is quite wearing on the hand. But if you use sprue again, it's the same kind of thing. You just need to leave it longer for it to melt down. Sprue will take longer to dissolve away. If you can use plastic card, it's actually a bit quicker.
Yeah, a lot of folk are saying in the chat that you can make it as gloopy as you want. Ant says gloopy but not runny. So people are saying thick enough so it just moves. So things like that. Just really make it as thin or as thick as you want it, or have a couple of varying bottles at different thicknesses.
Keith then asks, any reason why I didn't stay with using the toothpaste for a masking solution? It was a bit random. It was fine, but it wasn't very good for large scale models, small models. Here's the large scale, small scale thing again. For large scale models, so models like 1/1000 scale or something like that, it's a bit over the top. It's not as precise as say masking fluid. But if you just want a really cruddy battered look, it's quite handy. I just had when I had to do some masking, I had no masking fluid, so I had to do it there and then with the toothpaste.
Yeah, I've just noticed a comment by Alan there at Northwest Model. He says his wife obviously went with him to Telford, and she kept picking up kits with a couple of £100. Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Alan, she's totally a keeper.
Yes, go, keep it.
Yeah, she's a keeper, mate. Well, I joke with Ted because Ted told me he didn't buy anything. I'm like, Oh, well, you took Mrs. Ted with you. That's probably why I didn't buy anything then.
No, I'll show you what I bought. I honestly really didn't buy anything at all. I didn't buy any kits because, as you know, I don't stash kits unless I need to. Unless I'm going to build it, I won't buy it. Or other people have bought me kits, but no, unless I need it, I don't buy it. And sometimes the prices at the shows are not a lot different to what eModels have got anyway, even with the postage and things like that. It's just, I think it's the availability of them that you can get hands on straight away. That's the advantage of shows. What I did buy is just really bits and pieces, really. Unfortunately, I bought from Pinnacle Products a high temperature soldering mat, so I could do some
high temperature soldering.
Yeah, just so I could do some photo etch on that. Rather than burning holes in my cutting mat, I can now do it on a little piece of it. I had used sort of tiles, bathroom tiles, and things in the past, but I got a cutting mat in the end. I bought some toothbrushes, paintbrushes. They were nice. I bought some just some airbrush cleaning accessories, some brushes. Not
to make you feel bad about spending money there, but Griff MJ says, Ted, just use a tile.
Yeah, that's it. But, yeah, it was cheap. I had the cash. I thought I had to buy something.
Says, I remember Ted buying that mat. Ah, the memories.
Yeah,
it was almost like it was yesterday.
Yeah, somebody saw me buy things. Another thing I did buy, one of these stalls that was selling huge resin figures had a box of scrap bits, and they had a box of heads. So I bought a head. Now, you may ask why I bought a head, but I thought I'd buy it. It was only a couple of quid. I thought I'd buy a resin head just to practice some figure painting on. So, yeah, I'll stick that down, see how I do with that. Nothing lost. It was cheap enough. So that's really all I got. So now I've just remembered that when I got that, I thought, right, I'll go across and get some oil paints now, some proper flesh painting oil paints, and I forgot. Telford is one of these
typical you, Ted, isn't it? Basically,
Telford is one of these shows that you walk out the door on the way home and you think, I should have bought that. I didn't get that. Ah, damn! I missed buying that.
That's like me when I go to the corner shop, and I go to the corner shop to buy a thing like milk, and then it'd be like, oh, I also need to get this, and this, so I'll get that one on there. And then I get there, get everything, and get back and go, wait, I forgot the actual main thing I went for, the milk.
So
to follow on from what you said earlier on, Alan at Northwest Modeler says his good lady wife has also bought him an A3 printer for Christmas, so she's definitely a keeper.
Oh, right.
Yeah, not disagreeing there, Alan. Think of the decal. Oh, you could do decals on that now. Ooh, you could print your own decals. I need a printer. I haven't got a printer. I need a printer.
Tony Black says I could make it a Skipper Ted head. Yeah, there was actually a skipper's hat. There was actually a skipper's head in the box, but he had a beard, and it was obviously a second. It were rejects from the molds, and the head was a little bit battered up, so unfortunately I had to leave it where it was.
Just on you mentioning beards, and I know this is going all the retro that we always end up in 45 minutes of talking about the 1970s. A few weeks ago, when we were having the conversation about TV in the 1970s, somebody mentioned Bob Symes. And there's a connection, so don't worry. So I went off and I suddenly found like all the Bob Symes stuff about model making on the YouTubes. So I watched all this stuff, and there's one bit, and these are all from the 1970s. One bit where he's interviewing this guy, who's Bob Symes is stood there, and he's basically got like a little 1/24 scale figure, and he's making him look like Bob Symes. And this is just like a soldier. So he's basically putting a beard on this little plastic figure. But what he did was he basically applied sprue goo, which I didn't even know was a thing in the 1970s. He basically applied sprue goo to the face with a cocktail stick and a very fine brush, and built it up to make a big bushy beard. And when he finished, it actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So sprue goo has many uses.
Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say then.
Excellent.
Yeah, it always works. I just got an answer back from Christopher Thompson about the brass on submarine. I think he might have mentioned it in the chat as well. He says there are two sets. There's one from Edward, and the other is from RC Subs. I think that's the Czechoslovakian website. He'll be using the second one. He just wants to know if I'll be using either. I don't think I will. I'll just be building this as much out of the box as I can to show you guys how it goes together. So yeah, that's what I'll do. Unless if it's something that eModels have in stock, I might consider doing it. But I'm almost at that stage of doing the deck now, so I don't really want to hold it up and get on with it.
Now here's a question for you, Ted, and you boat aficionados will appreciate this. When you're doing your deck, what color are you going to do it? There's a question.
Yeah.
You've read that that PDF that I sent you.
I've read the book. Yeah, I think it should be done black with a chipping of a brown underneath.
It's the right answer.
Yeah, so it should be done black.
Yes, I'm not a rivet counter, but I did find fascinating when I was doing my 7C U-boat that there used to be the wooden decks on U-boats were covered in this like waterproofing to stop them rotting, and it was black. But that used to wear away. So when I did mine, what I did was I painted it all various wood colors like deck tan and things like that. Did some dry brushing, some pastels, sealed it, and then basically went over it with a gunk wash of black and starship filth. And then after it gone on, rubbed it away where things like the foot traffic would be. So you had this dark black, sort of almost like it's been coated in tar look deck, but where it faded away, you had the deck color underneath. It's just like, so I was hoping you were going to say that because that's always more interesting than just a wooden deck. I definitely just if you can open all the holes, by the way.
Yeah, what I'll do when I get nearer to that stage, and what I do with any of my builds is when I'm near that stage of a particular model, I'll then go and research it, because I won't research it beforehand because I'll forget. You know what my memory is like. I can't remember what I said in the stream 5 minutes ago. Never mind what I read in a book a few days ago. So
wait, what are we talking about? I've forgotten already.
Yeah, it's like mine's like a goldfish. What's your name again?
Don't know.
Foxx.
Stockings, suspenders, chocolates. Memory like a spiv. Never mind. Moving on.
A question from Dave in the chat. What kits has everybody asked for Christmas? Remember, it's only 6 weeks away. 6 weeks to Christmas.
Yes. I've not asked for any, actually.
I haven't either, really.
I don't really do. It sounds really bad to say, but we don't really do the Christmas gift thing here much anymore, because to me, it's like when you're a kid and you get a pillowcase full of toys, it's brilliant. When you become an adult and you might get like a book.
Yeah, or a pair of socks.
Yeah, actually, I don't mind a pair of socks because I like socks, but so yeah, I don't really ask people to get me presents. Usually because I'm so skint, I can't afford to get presents back. So I just say, don't get me anything this year. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, or are you one of these that says, "Oh no, don't bother, don't get me anything, and when they don't, you're really disappointed."
Yeah, that's me basically in a tea. Yeah. And I might get one or two from one of my friends as a birthday present or something, because my birthday's before Christmas. But yeah, we don't really do Christmas presents. But if I was going to ask for one, I don't know. I wouldn't want to ask someone to get me a Neo Zeong. HG Neo Xeon, because it's 3. Oh, I'd probably say if somebody had money and they wanted to buy one, I'd say the perfect grade Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. Built or unbuilt?
Unbuilt. It's a kit.
Right.
Yes, and I would get past episode 6 because it would fit. It would fit on my desk.
Yeah.
There was a question here that I highlighted that I was going to ask you. Beyond Hope says, question: why did World War II battleships have wooden decking? Probably the most flammable and least protective coating. Because of weight. Shortage of metal supplies.
Yeah, it's also a good non-slip coating as well, and it's not easily damaged. And when it is damaged, it's easier to replace. Yes. And because it's tradition, and you know what the Brits and everybody else is like for tradition.
Yeah, I think it's as well. It was just an economy. It's like why use tons and tons of steel making a deck when you can just go and chop down some trees and use the wood. And the other thing, of course, is if it gets to the point where your deck is on fire and it's catching fire, you're probably not going to have any other. It's going to be such a bad situation that it doesn't matter if it's wood or steel anyway, because by that point you've got a hole in your deck and you're probably sinking. So it was probably more to do with weight and availability.
I would probably think also the way that the wood is laid, it wouldn't actually catch fire as easily if you ever tried to burn the top of a piece of wood.
Because I mean, ultimately, if you've got fire on your deck, it's either because something's exploded, in which case you've got more important things to worry about, and everything will happen before the wood has a chance to burn down. But if you if you throw petrol on a train sleeper and then light it, it would probably char the surface, but it wouldn't really burn through it.
So that's probably why. And it also makes for modelling ships a lot harder.
Yes, it's just to make the life of shipbuilders even worse when they want to build a scale deck. When I do my space battleship Yamato, there's some argument as because it's got the decking on the deck, strangely enough. Now it's a spaceship, but there's arguments whether it should just be the whole grey or it should be painted like a wooden deck. And the problem is that if you watch the anime, sometimes it is actually a wooden colour. So I'm actually going to do it as a wooden deck, like the actual original battleship Yamato, because it just looks cool. But it's such a small scale kit, it's like that long, that I won't be doing much detailing on it because it's too small a scale. But yeah.
On that note about decks, somebody asked me, I didn't see where, I can't find the question again, but somebody did ask if I was going to open all the holes on the deck of the submarine.
Vincent says, by the way, yes, they had, and wood can be surprisingly fireproof when using the right type and when treated right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's usually teak on decks.
It's probably also because it expands and contracts, which you might want on a deck that's probably expanding and contracting.
It's got corking in it. Yeah.
Anyway, carry on, Ted, sorry.
Yeah, so somebody asked if I was going to open all the holes on the deck. Have you seen all them holes?
That'll be a yes then, is it?
That's to be considered. I do realise it won't look authentic, but then again, when I've hopefully painted it and such, I don't know.
You know what, Ted? For the really, really tiny ones, just get some null oil in there. It'll look like it's just dark inside. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I might,
because they're too small.
Yeah, I think I might do that. I'm on the way for the freeing ports. You could probably see through there. I'm doing the freeing ports at the side of the deck. I've started on them, and I'm doing them as and when I feel like. When I've got waiting for paint to dry, I'll get the Dremel out and start drilling the freeing ports out.
I did the freeing ports on my 172nd U-boat, and the ones on the front, on the bow, down the side, did all those. But the ones that are down at the on the bottom of the hull, on the keel at the bow, what's the actual bow? What's the bow end of the keel? Is it called
the bow's the sharp end, the stern is the blunt end.
It's the butt.
Yeah.
Is there a name for that bit of the hull where it's the bow and I don't know. Anyway, the front end of the hull, the keel. I didn't do those because they're the square ones. And I was like, yeah, trying to drill out those ones and sand them so they look nice and neat. Yeah. And some of the tiny ones around the screws at the back, I didn't drill those out because this is only 1/72 scale. It was too small. Yeah. And they were nice square ones. And drilling those out to get them nice and square when there's like 100 of them, I would have just had to go off and just drink myself to death. So I didn't. On that one you've got there, you've probably got more scope for that. But
yeah, I'll consider it when I get there. But yeah, it's going to be an epic journey to drill all them out. So yeah. I'll consider it. I might try and paint them first, see how they look. If they look all right, I'll do without. If they're looking a bit naff, I'll probably have a go.
I mean, the advantage with the main freeing ports is they're kind of like a rectangle with rounded edges, so you can get your drill at either end. The drill exactly the right size, you get a nice round edge, and then just cut out the bit in the middle so you can keep the shape. But where it's a square port, keeping that square so they all look nice and neat, yeah, it's not that easy.
Well, Sharon said, take your time on a U-boat, Ted. One mistake and you're sunk. Boom. Yeah.
But keep in mind, of course, you need to keep making videos.
Yeah.
So take your time, but do it faster.
Right. Where we are. Let's have a look at the chat. The chat has been zooming up. Everybody is saying what they want for Christmas. Mike says he wants a D9 door, so that's nice. Yeah, a nice kit. Somebody else saying they want a nice airbrush. Red Dwarf 11 DVD. Yeah. Right, yeah, decent airbrush. I think Tony Black says, I think Royal Navy aircraft carriers had metal decks. They did eventually.
They've got a whole weight of a plane, though, haven't they? So that's a bit different.
Yeah, the Americans had wooden decks on theirs. I think we had wooden decks to start with. Then we moved over to metal decks, but I know it's now all metal decks. But everything's on. I
mean, maybe it was also an issue of production, trying to produce such big flat plates of steel that wouldn't just bend in the middle or something. I don't know. Maybe that was a problem.
Yeah.
Nige says if you're drilling out the free ports, Ted, check references. The Trumpy kit is wrong and has too many holes in one row and not enough in another.
Right. Yeah, well, I think when you've got so many, yeah, was it? Yeah, that's for the rivet counters.
No. I knew you'd say that. And remember, Dunkelgelb, which would...
Yeah, which color? Yeah, which is the right shade?
I'd take the whole submarine as Dunkelgelb. There you go.
Yeah, paid a different color.
Philip Rhodes asked, Fox, what's your next eModels kit build? Apologies if it's been mentioned before. No idea. I've got a couple of other things I need to do first. I need to do some stuff for my channel before I do another eModels build. People are screaming at me to do more Gunpla, so the next video build I'm going to do, and I'll announce it here. I'm not doing it for eModels, but this is the thing, right? When eModels start selling Gunpla, yeah, you see where I'm going with that. I'm hoping they'll be selling Gunpla by then. My own personal next build will be my mega-sized Unicorn Gundam, which I'm going to do in a bit of a different colour scheme. So I'm going to hopefully start that this week. That's for my channel. But free models, I don't know. I've got to do some stuff for my channel first. So it might be a little while before I start the next one. If we're lucky, it might be a Gunpla.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to see that. I think, though, first, as I said last week, when you weren't here, when you were somewhere else.
I was in Xbox. I'll tell you last week, actually, I was in the chat. And I can't show you it now because my microphone's sitting up, but I was using my old iPad for the chat. And it's the slowest thing. It can't cope with scrolling the chat and typing at the same time, which is why I took forever to answer anything. So apologies.
Because there's a lot of non-Gunpla builders in here. And I think that before, as and when eModels get the new Gunpla, I think you should do an introductory video to explain the differences.
Yes. What is a Gunplas?
Yeah. Yeah. What do we look for? What do we do? And how do they go together?
Yeah, very nicely, thank you. Yes, I probably will do, actually, because a lot of people won't know what they are. And hopefully over time, what I'm hoping is, as time goes by, eModels might be able to get more than just Gunpla, so I can do some other of the Bandai stuff as well. So we'll see how it goes. If they got a load of Space Battleship Yamato stuff, some of those kits are fantastic. So we'll see. And I won't just do Gunpla for eModels.
So we'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
Another question that come through on email from Jamie Bourne. I don't know if excuse me, I don't know the answer to this one myself. Some of the guys in chat might do. He says, hi Ted and Fox, do we know anywhere which sells aftermarket decals for a Revell 172 Westland Wessex? First question for me is, what sort of you try to represent with the Westland Wessex, and what colour would the Wessex be? The only colours I've seen of a Wessex are usually green, cockpit green and black. But if anybody out there in Chatland knows the answer to Jamie's question, where can you find some aftermarket decals? If you type up, and we'll pass the message on.
They're also often yellow.
Yeah.
SE Rescue.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ted.
Yeah, there's the Westland Wessex in the yellow as the SE Rescue, but it was also in different colours and camouflage for the Marines and other units, and they were quite a well-used aircraft at the time.
If he's just looking at getting if he's looking at getting decals, as in he's got the kit from somewhere, but it's not got the decals in it, and so it's the decals that would have come with the kit, it's worth actually getting in touch with Revell. You have to go to Revell.
Yeah, that's if
Germany, the website.
Or Airfix or whoever the manufacturer is.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, sorry, yes, sorry, my fault. Yeah, he did say Revell.
Oh, yes. If it is Revell are actually really good at sending you out replacement parts and things like that. When I did the Colonial Viper for eModels, the tailplane was missing completely. So I had to go through the website. It's the revell.gmbh. It's the revell.de, but you can have it in English. Fill out the form on the website. And they will send it to you. I think I got my tailplane from them within about a week and a half, 2 weeks, which is all right. And they sent me about 3 extra parts I didn't need. So if it's decals that they once produced, they may actually have some. So it's worth giving them a shout.
Yeah.
Failing that, eBay or Amazon. Somebody will have them.
One or two people are mentioning one or two other stores.
One Mac says he's got a Ginster's peppered steak slice. Excellent. Are you going to weather it?
Yeah, got to weather it.
Yeah.
Or peppered steak. Oh, yeah. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, the pepper gets me. Oh, can't do the pepper.
Yeah, I'm not a big pepper fan.
Yeah.
Steak,
right. question: wasn't there some talk a while back? This is from Keith Denny. Excuse me, Keith Denny. Question: wasn't there some talk a while back of doing some advice tips on viewers' work in progress? If so, who do I make the stamped address envelope out to? Can you remember that?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it once, but I think basically we had to think about it and discussed it, and what we decided then was it was probably a really bad idea, because although it would be done in good faith, and 99 out of 100 people would be very happy, there'd always be one person who would be insulted or offended by the fact you're offering you say, yeah, this kit looks brilliant, however, and then you'd say, have you thought about doing this? And although it's like constructive criticism and constructive advice, there's always somebody who takes it the wrong way and takes offense.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things we thought about and thought in the end it's not worth it for the one person that will then throw the toys out the pram, because we've suggested doing something that they maybe thought was brilliant, and we've maybe suggested here's how you might be able to improve that. Criticism is a very hard thing to do because not everybody wants criticism, they want praise. Some people just want praise. So it's probably not something we're going to do because it's not worth the fallout if somebody takes it the wrong way.
Yeah,
it's something we'd like to have done, but not really practical.
There are certainly lots of forums, Facebook pages out there that you could submit your work to and ask on there, but do be prepared for some people sort of really going to town on it.
The other reason, of course, is that there's always somebody who sends you a picture of something that's so terrible. There's no way to be constructively polite in criticism about you. You just be disingenuous if you were to say, anything. So sometimes there are situations where you have to say, I can't comment on this because it's the quality of it is such that it's not fair to anybody. So it's not worth the fallout it might cause, basically.
Yep, we like to keep everybody happy, a happy family here, so we don't want any falling out.
Yes.
Right.
Max says, what's on sale in eModels?
What's on sale at eModels? Should we have it to buy that time? Yeah, I didn't realise the time's getting on. This time last week, I was running out of things to say, and I was
now I'm here to fill the gap.
Talking to myself.
Do you remember what to do, Ted? It's been a while since you had to do this. So
yeah, right. Yeah,
to lock it on you.
Right, I've got to lock it on you.
No,
I lock it on me. That's it. I seem I'm forgetting. I said before I've got a bad memory. Right, and then we'll go and screen share, and we'll have a look at what's in store this week.
Are these all from the office section today, or are they varied?
No, they're varied about today, and this week's theme is First World War.
Yes.
I used to try to pick a theme, and I really struggled this week to pick a theme.
I should have thought, actually, because I've not got my poppy on my jacket.
Yeah, as it's Remembrance weekend as well, and such, I thought we'd have a look at the, particularly the TACOM kits. I've got a screen share in a moment. Don't worry, I forgot to press.
Yes. Don't forget that to directly answer the question about the offers. Don't forget, go to the eModels website, emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. And there is a section labeled offers, and that is stuff. It's not just stuff that they're trying to get rid of because they can't sell. It's all kinds of different things. It's basically things that eModels thinks you might quite like, and they want to give you a chance to get it at a bit of a discount. With a bit of a price knocked off. Some of the stuff could be on there for a week or a month, or it could be on there for 2 days or 5 minutes or half an hour. So it's worth checking it regularly because you never quite know what's going to be in there. And it might be a little tiny thing. It might be a little £5 kit that's now £2.50. I've seen things on there with like £100 off. So it's worth going and checking because you never know.
There is some good stuff. Yeah, it's discounted and limited availability. It says there at the moment. I'm just looking at it now.
So if you see something in there and you quite like it, don't wait for a couple of days because it might only be on there for a day. So they go in every day and change it. So you can get some massive.
In fact, I was looking at it tonight when I was just going through to have a look at what's in store. The guys at eModels must have been on the computer because every time I refreshed the page, it kept changing. There was more stuff there. And sometimes we'll find that we mention stuff in the chat and we mention it what's in store, and it mysteriously appears on the offers page.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Ted, just very quickly before you go, Beyond Hope says, can we have a Black Friday preview? We don't know what they're going to put on offer on Black Friday. I don't think they'll know till the day before. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're really going to have to wait till Black Friday. I'll be certain having a look. With the money I've got left over from Telford, I'll be having a look as well. See what's there. Yes. Right, let's have a screen share. Screen share.
Go to it. Have you locked it on you?
I've locked it on me.
Yeah, so I can stop now. Hurrah!
Oh, right. So there we are. There's the discounted and limited availability. There's the offers page. You've got some water. We were talking about diorama stuff last week. See what happens. How it comes up.
It's not just all kits in here. There's kits, there's books, tools, magazines.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
Quite a varied selection. It's quite a big selection, but it does change all the time. There's an action figure there. There's a Superman action figure. Superman's rubbish. Marvel's rubbish. And DC, just Superman's rubbish. But Batman all the way.
Yeah.
So check it regularly because stuff can be on there for a day or a week or a month or 5 minutes.
Very nice book, Encyclopedia of Aircraft Modelling. Yeah, I'll just have a quick flick through this. I didn't actually plan to do the offers, but there's the first page that came up. Right, let's get on to our theme this week.
Yes.
And the first one what I picked out was the Tecom Mark IV male. It says male female, so I wonder if you get the option to make one or the other on this. Oh yeah, assemble as male or female version. Cement-free workable tracks included, and a choice of 4 markings.
You kind of have to do the traditional tank for World War One, don't you? Really, you can't not do the tanks.
I did say before that I was thinking of doing something in 1/35 scale, and that I wasn't going to say anything about it, but this is one of the things I have in mind. One of the First World War tanks. And
I think they'd be interesting in a small scale, like 1/16th or 1/40th, 1/24th or something, just because there's so much potential for epic weathering.
Yeah.
A small version of that would be awesome.
Well, I think even at a 1/35 scale, it doesn't necessarily rule out any weathering and mud and the effects and things like that. As Professor Tedward McSkipperton did the other week, he did some a mud tutorial. Some of the big heavy weathering products would be great on something like this.
Michael Jackman was joking that it's going to be male and female tanks, and then he says, "Told you, you kind of have to do the male and female tanks if you do World War One. There's not a lot else to do World War One. Not much."
So that's the Mark IV. I know that Tecom do a couple of different ones. They do a Mark I as well. This is the Mark I. But I just wonder what the little picture is up at the top there. Does it say something about that?
It's a male, I think, that one. Well, but it says male on the box.
Yeah, it says male in the box. I'm just wondering what this is here. Oh, I didn't actually check this out before.
A few people did suggest that you could do some Tecom tanks. So
yeah,
in the chat earlier on.
Yeah, I'm really sort of. I'd looked at some of these. There was quite a few of these around at the show yesterday. So, I'd maybe choose one of these. The hatches could be fitted, open or closed. Sponsor crane, flat trailer. Yeah. So, and we always say the kit that Tony made, the Chieftain tank that Tony made from Tecom. He rated that highly. I've never heard a bad word about Tecom yet, so they can't be all bad.
And I have to admit as well, my respect for the people, just and because it's Remembrance Week, obviously last week, a little sort of doff of the hat of respect to the tankers that drove these things, because I never had an idea, but I watched recently, it was a sort of drama documentary on the BBC called Tankers. I think it was called Tankers. And it was basically based on journal entries of somebody who was in a World War I tank, and it was a dramatization of people in the tanks. And it was amazing. It was incredible because they're so primitive. They're so basic inside. Basically, it's supposed to be the wonder weapon, but I really wouldn't have wanted to be inside one during the war because a lot of them didn't work.
Yeah, on that note, on about the TV as well, I spotted something advertised on TV just a few hours ago, actually. I think at the weekend, Guy Martin is actually building a First World War tank, a full-size working First World War tank.
Wait, who's Guy Martin?
Should I ask that? Yeah.
Should I have asked that?
Yeah, he's famous for being a TT racer.
Oh, right.
But he's recently done a lot of daring do documentaries, sort of being the fastest person on a push bike and taking part in a Formula One pit crew team and things like that. Yeah, he's become a bit of an adventurer. He's one of these guys that seems to have no fear.
Yes. Shaman Adrian says Tacom and Meng are better than Tamiya. I'm converted.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are starting to say that Tacom and Meng were like two of the companies that started to bring in photo etch. Tamiya were a bit late to the party with photo etch.
Yeah. And I think that Tacom are adding photo etch because they need they accept that it needs to be detailed and they're putting the photo etch in for that reason, rather than some kits who put photo etch in just to put on the box includes photo etch and bring the parts numbers up. They're putting it in because it's actual sort of they want to be detailed. But anyway, moving on. The next one is the Mark 1 female.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Ted. For those who are wondering who aren't in the chat, in case they're not sure, Ron was asking in chat what's the difference between male and female. And for those that aren't sure, the male and female refers to one has a cannon and one has a machine gun.
Yeah,
I can't remember which is which. I think female have the machine gun sticking out the side and the sponsons, and the male have a cannon.
Yeah. So I believe that's the right way around. If anybody knows the difference or knows a different version, that's
we do like to make things up and sound like we know what we're talking about, so we could be completely wrong.
Yeah, well, yeah. But this one, the female version, build them both side by side and compare the differences yourself. The involvement of the tank through the First World War was the tank was developed in the First World War, and the involvement after that. I've seen the inside some of these vehicles at the Tank Museum at Bovington, and as Foxx says, I doff my hat. We doff our hats.
Ultimate respect.
Yeah, ultimate respect.
And unknown, untested technology that frequently broke down, didn't work.
And there were just big metal boxes that contained a huge, roaring, smelly, poisonous engine dispersing diesel fumes into the body. How these guys survived, I've the deepest respect for them.
Apparently, one of the highest types of casualty to the tank crews in World War I was actually poisoning from the diesel fumes.
Yeah,
not actually being shot at or bombed. It was like being damaged by the diesel fumes.
And to drive these tanks across no man's land and then just get stuck in the mud. And nowhere to go. It must have been horrendous.
Because at first the Germans didn't know what was going on. They were terrified. But after a little while, they realised they could be easily stuck. They were like, "Oh, okay, so we can defeat these things. Fine." At that point, it became a bad time to be a tank driver or tank crew.
Yeah, war's not a nice thing, and these things weren't nice things. But somebody had to do it. Right, moving on.
Tony Black says males had the cannon.
Males have the cannon.
Says well-known fact: all women have machine guns.
Yeah, I thought that was the right way around. Yes. Moving on from tanks, we'll have a look at a few wing nuts. The aircraft. These this is a great sort of magnificent men in the flying machines, and it is the wing nuts.
Here we go.
Wing nuts wings. Stand by for it.
I'm just gonna shut up now while you do this.
Jinanen, Stahltaub, Eric Tauber. Yes, thank you. You can.
He's very good. He's getting better. The wingnut wings 130 seconds. Jinen Stahltaube. Taube. Stahl means steel, but I don't know what Taube means. Or if it's just a name. Steel something.
I think it's maybe the pilot.
Yeah, or does it mean frame or wing? Stahltaube.
Yes. Now
look at it. It's gorgeous. It's that kind of era when we didn't understand aerodynamics, and you remember the old, like in the early days of cinema, and they had like the city of the future, and everybody was going around in these amazing flying vehicles. That's what it means. I mean, that's what you think of. Just those,
Yeah, there's loads. You need to get, rather than read all this out, if you go to the eModels website and have a look at item 32058, and you can read just about, or read all the options available.
Stahltaube means steel dove.
Right. No, thank you for the translation.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I knew what Stahl meant. I just didn't, because I play Skyrim, so I know what Stahl meant. But I don't know what Taube meant. But now he said dove, I do recognise the word Taube.
Yeah, well, the magnificent men in the flying machines. And going back to the tank, and speaking about the, in honour to the guys that flew these things, this is a German one, but the respect is there as well. And I think the lifespan was measured in days, wasn't it, for pilots in the First World War? So,
but it's how those things. Just looking at it, can you do a click on the picture to show the bigger version of the picture?
I don't know if I can. I'll try.
Does it open a bigger? There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Just how those things ever flew. They're just like so. They're just incredible. It's like designed by a complete madman, but it worked.
And it was just string, wooden string, wood canvas and string.
And they had virtually no knowledge of aerodynamics, or when they were building these early planes, they didn't even know how they worked, like how they got off the ground. They didn't really understand aerodynamic and, you know, lift pressure and things like that. So the fact they actually ever got them to work is incredible.
Yeah, and then to put your life in the reliance of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that one. I won't try and say it again because I'll just spoil. I'll just spoil it for now.
You just ruin the moment, Ted.
Yeah, and finally, yeah, it's another German one. This one's from Special Hobby. It's the Albatross.
Albatross.
Yeah,
Python joke. Sorry,
the biplane. I know we looked at biplanes a few weeks ago and things like that, but it's always worth a revisit, especially this time of year. This is a special one. I don't know if there's any other pictures.
I love biplanes. They're just brilliant. Planes kind of bore me, but biplanes, you can't not like biplanes.
And done properly with some of the easy line, maybe use easy line for rigging and things like that, such as techniques for doing it. They can look awesome. Yeah, fantastic. Paint them up. Oh, but that's a Special Hobby one. That's in 1/48 scale as well. So a nice size.
Michael Jacobin says an interesting point. He says that in the last year of the war, Germans had parachutes. The English didn't. Or the Allies didn't.
Well...
then again, the flying so low, you probably wouldn't even have time to open a parachute. So.
Yeah, and then would they rely on the parachute?
Bear in mind as well, these things are basically wood with some cotton wrapped around it and a bit of metal. And it took them a while before they figured out how to make the machine guns not shoot the propellers off.
Yeah, that was it, because they used to put the machine guns either, as you can see in this one, the gunner was behind the pilot and it could only shoot backwards.
Yep, or they had them on top of the wing, so it was above the propellers. It took them forever. It took them a while before they worked out how to key the machine. I never knew this, but they worked the machine guns into the actual movement of the engine rotors and pistons, so they fired in time with the propellers and didn't shoot their own propellers off. I thought it was quite clever.
That's clever stuff. Yeah, the development, and all this was done on pen and paper. There was no computers.
Slide rules.
Slide rules.
Boffins with curly whirly Hightower engineer hair.
So that's it. That's what's in store for this week. So don't forget, go and have a look at the home, the new. What's in store, what's new this week, and the offers as well. And
you check out the offers, and if you see something you like, and as we always say, when we show things on screen, if you think, oh, I quite fancy that, don't wait around, because you might find that by the time we finish this stream, it's sold out because everybody else might be having the same thought. We do find stuff sells out before we've even finished the live stream. So if something tickles your fancy, get it now. Get it now.
Yeah. And we don't know how many, when these things, if they're on the site, they're in stock. We don't know how many there are. There might be just one in stock, but it's because it's in stock, it's on the site. So if you fancy it, put it in your basket and get it. Yeah, right.
Have you taken it off unlocked from you, Ted?
It's unlocked from me now.
Yes.
I'll get the chat back.
So yes, a little bit of World War I action there, as it was Remembrance Weekend. I forgot to put my poppy on, so. But yes, ultimate respect to all veterans, not just veterans of World War One, but it's that time of year when you start to think about things like that, and it's always a thing of great respect for me. I've family. My granddad was in World War II and died in World War II, so I don't know if I had any relatives in World War One. I suspect I probably did, because most people did, but my family history, we haven't traced anybody back who was involved in World War One.
Right. Let's see what else we've got. Where are we up to? Yeah, there was lots of. Hopefully, that's what you're interested in something.
Yes. But don't hang around. Go and grab it. If you want it, grab it. It won't last long. Ted, because we didn't do the question at the start. What have you been working on this week?
What have we been working on?
We didn't do this at the start. Have you worked on anything this week?
I have, yeah. As you saw, I've been working on the engine room for the submarine this week, and then lots of other things have sort of taken over. We've had some viewings on the house, and then Telford came along. So that's what I've been doing this week. So
yeah, on the housey stuff yet?
Yeah, we've had a couple of viewings.
It may be for the couple of weeks after Ted moves house. I might be doing the show on my own.
Yeah,
because he might not have broadband.
Yeah, we've had a couple of viewings of the house. The feedback has been quite positive, but we've had nothing definite yet. As everybody comes around and say yes, very nice, and then move on. But never mind. But we'll see what's going on. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. As I said, I've been preparing some of the videos. Some of the video is ready for the submarine. I've just got to finish it or do the weathering now, and then I can edit it all together. So hopefully not too far away. But what have you been doing? Have you been doing anything? Apart from
Well, like
fixing
I
a
said,
computer.
because the computer was, you know, no longer of this world. I didn't really do anything because if I'm building something, I need to be filming it. If I'm not filming it, it's kind of something I should have been filming. It's kind of hard to explain, but because I can't film it, I can't use my. I film on my iPhone, which has so much memory. So as I'm doing an episode, I film a snippet, put it on my PC, start editing it, and go backwards and forwards. So I couldn't do any filming, so I couldn't do any building. I just finished the Eagle, and I didn't want to start the next thing because I can't film it. So I've had basically very little to do all week. It's been quite frustrating and really, really boring.
But you've had a delivery of the Xbox, so.
Well, I got my new Xbox One X, which sounds brilliant, but when you've been playing on it straight for a week because there's really nothing else to do, you get kind of sick of it. You're like, I need to get a build on. And I've got to tell you, I had no choice but to surf the web on Microsoft Edge on the Xbox. Don't surf the web on a console. It's just not. So yeah, I spent a lot of time on my new Xbox.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah. It's really worth it if you're thinking of getting one. Yes, but it's after a week, I'm chewing at the tables. I'm like, so I'm glad to be back in the thick of it now, so I can get on with the next thing, which I think is going to be my big unicorn Gundam, my big mega size unicorn Gundam.
Right.
Which will not be white.
Oh, right.
So there you go.
Okay,
I've got permission not to. Paul Stewart says I could have painted Jar Jar. Paul and Chris sent me a little Jar Jar figure. Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to film it, and you wouldn't be able to witness my absolute agony and torture while I was doing it. So
that could we could save that for another time in another place.
Yes.
I'm just going through the chat as well. I think there's a question there from Sharman. Question: has Ted or Foxx looked into? Here we go. Zuki Amura. Do you know what that is?
Nope, no idea. I know it's really bad to say that, but I'm assuming it's a brand.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a brand name as well, Shaman. Zuki, Zoukie Amura, 132 kits. What do we think? Unfortunately, Shaman, I haven't heard of them.
No, I mean, the thing with me and Ted, well, the thing with me is I'm going to assume they're either Japanese or Eastern European, perhaps. And I'm going to therefore guess it's either modern or vintage armor, perhaps. I could be wrong, but if it is, that's not really my wheelhouse anyway, so I wouldn't be up to speed with the latest sort of new manufacturers for aircraft or armor, things like that. But I've not heard of them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm afraid the days since when there was just Airfix and Tamiya, the market is flooded with different manufacturers now, and it's difficult keeping up with them all.
Yeah. There are a lot of small, smaller companies out there doing really good work. And even if you just watch, if you watch some of the Shizuoka Hobby Show in Japan, and they have the traditional model kits, and companies like I can't remember what they're called now, Beaver something or other. And they import a lot of European and American kits to Japan. And you see all these tiny little companies that make these amazing sort of armor and AFV and planes and things. And you've never heard of them because they just don't have a massive market outside the US or the Asian territories or even Eastern European.
Right. Hang on a minute. TK has just said Tsukimura are overly complicated, but the detail is superb. Now, is this the Japanese company that were at Telford that I actually just skimmed past?
Is this the one that TK is making with the Horton? Is that a Tsukimura?
Is that the one? Is that the one? They have some really obscure aircraft, and the German ones.
If it is, then I do know what a Tsukimura is, because yes.
Yeah, Michael Jackman says they were at Telford.
John Bennett says aircraft, you plums.
Yeah. I think yes. I know the ones you're on about now.
Yes,
they are fantastic.
So do I.
Yeah, they are expensive as well.
Yes, TK's making the Horton HO229. I think, is that right?
I think HO229. Yeah,
the flying wing, and he's built the entire inner frame, which is basically reproduced as the entire inner frame, and then he covers it up with the outside, so you just got to see it, and it's incredible. So yes, I am aware of it, and I rung the bell. Yes, I'm not really a plane guy, unfortunately.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, they are outstanding. I don't think I'll ever get around to building one, but they are. Yeah, they're good. I'm
quite proud that I remembered it was the HO229. I'm quite proud of that.
Yeah, it's good. That. Yeah,
you mentioned Space Raiders flashbacks. 1980s foods. We've done it, Ted. We're
Yeah,
knackered now.
just one more before we get into that. The Mojo Photo says, "Hi guys, could someone recommend a paint for the RAF Eurofighter Typhoon? Airfix Barley Grey, Humbrol Barley Grey. That's what I did mine in. So anything or any conversion from Humbrol Barley Grey. That'll do that.
For those not from Cumbria, barley, B-A-R-L-E.
Barley.
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 That's in the crop.
Yeah. So that's that one. Yeah, and yeah, going back to Space Raiders. I don't remember Space Raiders. That's
God, shut up, Ted. Do you remember Cheesy Moments? They're more like.
Oh yes.
Space Raiders nothing to do with Cheesy Moments.
I was thinking it was a film.
No.
I was thinking it was a sort
I think Cheesy Moments is the worst name for any kind of product ever, but there you go. Somebody mentioned Twiglets. All I'm going to say, I'm going to stop the conversation right now because I'm just going to say Findus crispy pancakes. There. You can't beat that. Move on, next subject.
No. Let's give a mug away.
Yes. Have we got some?
Yeah, right. We're going to give a mug away, but they're out of stock, or they're low on stock,
yes.
So it might not arrive straight away.
Yes. My understanding is they've had a few issues getting replacement stock, so they're running a little bit behind getting more stock. So if they've got some left now, it'll get to you fairly quickly. You might have to wait a little bit though. If they've all run out of stock by the time we pull a winner out, you might have to wait a little bit till they get more in stock. They've had a problem from the manufacturer getting them to them. I think.
Yeah. So they are dealing with it. And on that note, I had a word from the dog from above today.
Must be obeyed.
It must be obeyed. I've had word from him that eModels are soon to be producing branded products. So the pens, not only will it be cups, but it'll be pens and sort of little tool kits and lots of other things that you can sort of be branded. Maybe even some T-shirts as well.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of? Would you like an eModels T-shirt produced, something like that?
Yeah. Or would you know if they did things like little tool sets, like file sets or sculpting tool sets, like kind of any little like knife sets and things branded, would that be something you would be interested in?
So if you guys are interested,
do the market research for free, Ted. You've just done that for free. People get paid 50 grand for that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can class me as a consultant, and I'll send them an invoice.
You can probably make it tax deductible, Pete. You can stop sweating now.
Yeah.
I was making his yacht hair twitch, I think.
Yes. How about an eModels 1/32 scale DH chipmunk kit? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and stickers, bashing kits, and stickers. Yes, the eModels stickers. Hang on.
Left. There you go.
That one, I've got to look at it now. Yeah, it's the wrong way around on that. Yeah, the eModels stickers. There's some new ones coming out. They've got the little eModels character on them, so there'll be some new ones. So you can have a collection. You could have the development of the eModels sticker on your tools.
Is that kind of like Top Trumps, where you can like pull them off against each other and like you have to get a little Panini sticker book full of different stickers?
Yeah, collectible. You could swap them with all your friends, and maybe there could be a gold sticker that comes out somewhere.
Griff MJ says cutting mats. That's a good idea.
Cutting mats, good.
Left-handed pens and scissors.
Yeah. Definitely cutting mats. That's a good idea. I never thought.
Nick McVeigh, if you could do a riveting tool that's not trumpeter in capital letters, that would be great.
Yeah. So you could be soon. You'll be able to swap your eModels branded goods. So watch this space.
Yes.
But
as Pete Mate is involved, we don't know how long it'll be.
Yeah, we don't know how long.
Could be quite quick. Could take a little while. Stay tuned is what we say.
Yeah. So
as I've said before on the stream, you have to remember Pete Mate is like a puppy with 4 or 5 tennis balls in front of him. It's like which one he goes for. It's a roll of dice. So he's always got something on the burner, and he has a lot of burners. So something's going to take a little while.
So we'll get Pete Mate on the job and get him to press that button and get the stuff ordered. Yeah, but that's what we're going to do.
Try. Right. Well, the conversation is completely collapsed into 1980s and 1970s snack food, so we better recover it by.
No, somebody mentioned Swap Shop, Foxx and Ted's Swap Shop. Swap Shop. Yeah.
I've not got any of them really bad sweaters. I've got the beard. I can be smarmy like Noel Edmonds.
Yeah, Dave, where's the rum gone? Says eModels could do a sticker album. Yeah, you could collect us like football stickers, couldn't you?
Bubblegum, like a bubblegum thing with like 5 stickers in it. Oh, I've got that bloke from Accrington Stanley again. Oh
yeah. Oh, I've got Gav, mate. Has anybody got a James, mate? So we could, yeah.
Ted, mug, before we're doing the 80s thing again, it's all going to go wrong for about 2 hours.
Oh, we better give his mug away. I've got it. Yeah. No,
the mug away. Let's give the mug away. Oh, is it question time?
Yeah, we've got to look around the room to think of a question now.
Okay. I held up. Is it actually on camera? I held up a glue product earlier on when I was explaining about. Now, well, before we ask that, I might do a different question. As always, when we do a mug giveaway, we'll ask you a question.
A mug.
Yep. You need to put, if you're in, it's just for people in chat, put your answer in chat, but wait till we say go. We will pick the first comment that we see in the chat that answers it correctly. Now, we see the chat differently to you guys. You see it prioritized for your own chat, whereas we see everybody. So the first one that is put through is the first one we will see. So don't worry about lag. It's just the way it is. That's YouTube for you. So wait till we say go. So earlier on, I was talking about sprue goo, and I said I put plastic card into a particular type of glue. Somebody's already answered it before I've even asked it, so I'll have to do a different question. Griff, go, yeah.
Yeah, can't jump. Yeah, I didn't
say can't do that one then. Right, let's think of a different question. Oh, fudge.
Right, what's the phone number for eModels? Go.
There you go. Bit of research. What's the phone number for eModels? Go.
Call us on what number?
Ted, what is the phone number for eModels?
I'm just looking at it now.
Yeah, best to check that first.
Right, I'll have to string a chat in case I can't see both now.
Right, let me find it, because then...
Yeah, I've got it now.
Have you got it? Okay. 018118055, Swap Sharp. BBC Television Centre, London, W12, 8QT.
Phil Rhodes is nearly right, but it got a figure wrong.
Stamped addressed envelope.
Yeah, there we go. Tony Black.
Yep. 01782 409 310.
310, yeah. Well done.
Model making needs. Well done, Tony.
Well done, Tony. Yeah.
You know where to send your email.
Yeah, and you can contact them by phone, but if you need to contact them, send them an email.
I shall use the loudest keyboard in the world. Email address in there. That's where you need to send it. And before you wonder about it, it's meant to be that loud.
Yeah.
It's designed to be a clicky keyboard. That's the whole point.
That's it. Tony Black, thank you very much.
Yes. Somebody actually asked to see my keyboard. It's an IBM Model M replica. So there you go. It's if you had computer in the 70s and 80s, it's one of those. That's why it's dead loud. I love it. It's the best.
IBM, BBC, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Was BBC the same company as the BBC, or was it somebody else?
BBC started a thing about computing. This I know all this. You see, they started a public thing in the 80s about introducing computing to kids, and they worked with Acorn, who made the BBC Model B. It was an Acorn computer branded as BBC, and it was actually the BBC, and it was one of the best-selling computers in the UK at the time. They put a tender out to like Sinclair and Acorn and some other people, and Acorn won it. But basically, they built the prototype over a weekend, a couple of days before they were supposed to put it in to get a quote, and they won. So,
so that's it.
But the BBC Micro was an Acorn. It was quite a big thing apparently in the 80s and early 90s, I think, until they stopped it. But yeah, proper IBM Model M, not a real one. It's a reproduction, but it uses the original molds, so it's as close as you're going to get. Yeah, unless you actually buy a proper IBM Model M.
Yeah, Dave says he doesn't look like his keyboard's full of fag ash. Yeah, have you been in an office and you've gone to a keyboard and you have to turn it upside down and all the gunge falls out of it?
Well, this is proper. This is one of the old school ones where you have the key and then you have the key cap, which you can take off. And I used to, in the old days, because I've worked on computers that had these keyboards back in the 90s. I used to confuse, I've said this before, I used to confuse my colleagues by like swapping the key covers around. Just like swapping two letters, and it'd take them ages to figure out. Yeah. And we've done it. We've gone back to the 80s again. Ted, we do it every time.
Phone's ringing. Hang on.
I've got a phone. What's this?
Hello. Hello, Peter. Nice to speak to you. How are you?
Mine's a pint.
Yeah. No. There's nothing in the cup. There's nothing in the cup tonight. No, there's no gin tonight. Yeah, we've got the jackets on, as you can see. It is cold. Yeah, yeah. They've turned the heating off in Fox's house, so he's got to wear his jacket now. Yes. Yes, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you are. Yeah, you are going to get some branded stuff. Thank you. It's Peter.
Is the bar still open?
Yeah. Sorry, Peter. I can't hear you for all the noise in the background. I think they call last orders. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. I forgot last week. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. Give one away. Okay. Thank you very much, Peter. Bye now. Yep. Yeah, we've got the word. We've got the word. We can do a giveaway.
Yes.
Yes, we've got to go
from Tebanker.
The thing is, I've got to go find it.
Oh.
Because remember that weekend that we spoke about utility vehicles and things like that?
Oh yes.
He's made a note. He remembered that we forgot to give the kit away.
Wait, hang on. Pete mate remembered something for more than about 5 minutes.
Only because he made a note of it.
Oh, he wrote it down and not on his hand.
It's written on his hand.
You need to get him to do that with more things.
Yeah, yeah. But he said he's going to do some sort of branded stuff and giveaways. We'll start giving away pens and things like that.
Make sure he's written it down, Ted. Then you can't get around it.
Yeah, it was a bit noisy to hear him in the bar. I couldn't hear him for the noise in the background.
Oh, it's karaoke night, isn't it, on Monday night?
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, so yeah.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, I don't get. Yeah, Peter singing "You're the One That I Want." Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, the yacht club. It's just.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're all there with the yacht hair. They're all in the back of the yacht club. Yeah, yeah. They're drinking pink gin.
I say, jolly good. Little finger out for the boys. There you go. Yeah.
Right, I found it. I found the one that we forgot to give away the other week.
It's the one that we've got.
No, I've got to remember how to share the screen again. Hang on. I did it once. It worked.
Don't press that green button. Not that one.
Not that one. Not that one. Right. I'll press this button. Screen share.
Don't forget to lock it on you as well.
Oh, I forgot to lock it on me.
Inception.
Yeah.
Series 3 Land Rover.
Yeah, I'll keep bouncing back to you because I forgot to lock it on me and I can't go back now. Yeah, the Series 3 Land Rover. You remember we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago and I completely forgot to give it away. So we're going to give it away this week. So,
yay.
Yeah.
Can I just say, and I think I've said it before, I used to have a Series 3 Land Rover. It was the best car I've ever had. Ever. It was the most fun. It was just, I so miss it.
Mm.
If you ever have a chance to get one, get one. Just do it. Do it. Well, it's an experience, put it that way. So that's what you can win this week. And we're going to give it away by commenting on the video at the end of the show. When the video goes live on YouTube, it'll be everybody's chance to have a go at winning it this week. I have a phrase, if I may. What you need to do when this video, don't do it in the chat now because this isn't for chat. This is for everybody in the world. So we won't pull the winner till next Monday. So you've got until next Monday to get your comment on. About 10 or 15 minutes after we finish the stream, the video will go live on the eModels YouTube channel. So go to this video, to this live stream, and put a comment on there. And what you need to put is, I miss my Landy. I miss my, because I miss my Landy all the time. I really regret ever having sold it. So I miss my Landy. I'm not going to worry how you spell Landy. It's Landy, but don't worry if you spell it wrong. But just put a comment that says, I miss my Landy. And then we will pull a winner at random next Monday, and they will win that lovely little Series 3 kit. I really miss my Land Rover, Ted. Really miss it. Yeah. You can paint it in the colours of Foxx. It was blue, wasn't it? It was a Land Rover Classic light blue. Yeah. Not a molecule of rust on it because it's obviously aluminium plate. But when I bought it, it was just like, it was a short wheelbase, 88-inch short wheelbase with the Safari windows on the back. Just dead basic. Steering wheel this big. And there was nothing on the bonnet. And I said to the guy, I said, have you got like an old spare wheel you're not going to use, you're going to throw out? He said, yeah, but they're all knackered. The tyres are shot. I said, don't care. I just have to have a wheel on the bonnet. It's got a brace on the bonnet. You can't sell me a Land Rover and there not be a wheel on the bonnet. So he said, well, I've got that one over there. It's going to throw it out. So I got him to give me this wheel and put it on the bonnet. So it had a wheel on the bonnet. Yeah. I've never been so happy than when I had my Land Rover.
Yeah, they were brilliant. The utilitarian type cars, and they were brilliant because you could just unbolt bits and bolt a bit back on. I think
Philip Rose does ask what I think the new Defender will be like. I don't care about modern Land Rovers. Anything after the Series 3 is boring. Series 3 was plastic steering wheel, that thick, this big, pedals that you had to grow bones in your legs to move, a seat that if your feet didn't reach the pedals, you don't buy the Land Rover because the seat doesn't move. It's built into the bulkhead. And that is just so, they're so simple and basic. I can't explain to you if you've never driven an old Series 3.
Somebody up here in the chat was saying that the steering wheel had something like a 20-degree arc before the front wheels even thought about it.
Oh yeah, I had to grow extra bones in my arms because it was like, this is a modern car, you go around a corner. With a Land Rover, it's like, I'm approaching the corner now. I'll be in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and had to give it notice to stop as well.
Yeah, I mean, it had drum brakes, so if I'm coming up to a Pelican crossing and there's somebody on it, they're not going to win. I'm not going to stop. So I went over a big high curb once and didn't even notice.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to have, for fun, not as a proper daily car, because that's the mistake I made, don't get one as a real going to work car. If you get a chance to get one, and it's not completely knackered.
Yeah. I saw a spoof speed limit sign for a Land Rover once. It said 60 miles an hour, and then underneath it had Land Rovers, do the best you can.
Land Rover. I never got it to go over. The fastest I ever got it was 55 miles an hour on the motorway, but the wind was behind me.
Yeah.
And that was downhill, so it wouldn't go over 50 miles an hour. And it didn't have it's really basic. It did have a stereo in it, with 2 little crappy speakers. So what I did was I took those out, and I just had at the time, I had these massive PC speakers for my computer that were like this big. So I basically kind of cable tied them to the inside of the roof so they didn't move, and kind of hot wired them into the stereo. So I was basically listening to my in-car stereo CD player through PC speakers hanging behind my head, and it was brilliant. The acoustic properties of a tin Land Rover are interesting, let's put it that way.
Brilliant, yeah.
Well, they are brilliant. They're such fun to drive. Just do it.
Yeah, you got to get one. The car, one of the cars you really got to have and drive.
And I have to be honest, I had it for about 3.5 years, and when I got it, I didn't know if it was in high ratio or low ratio gears, and it wasn't. The little yellow lever doesn't tell you; it's just a little yellow lever. I didn't have the nerve to change it, so I have no idea for 3 years if I drove around in high ratio or low ratio, or even if I was in 4-wheel drive or 2. I don't no idea. I never figured it out. So.
Griff was obviously ex-military. He did Leicester to Paderborn at 30 miles an hour in convoy in a Series 3.
Can't beat Series 3. Series 2 and Series 1, obviously they're vintage vehicles. You don't get involved in those. But Series 3, if you ever get a chance to get one, get one.
No windy down windows. You have to slide them as well.
Yeah, it may go into McDonald's a right nightmare. Because it opens that far, and it's just enough to get like a big McDonald's bag through, but you can't lean out and give them your money. It's drive-through becomes a nightmare. And if it's too warm and you want to get a bit of air coming into the cab, or if your passenger maybe does a bit of a trump and it's a bit rank, the windows don't do anything because they're sideways. So you just have the flaps at the front that you open up like that. They don't work. Don't cool you down. Trust me. Not in the heat of summer, little flaps on. It's a bit warm. I'm going to open my flaps. There you go. Yeah. Bearing in mind you can't reach the one over there, so you just get one flap in front of you. I loved it.
I think a friend of mine, his dad had a really old Land Rover. I think it must have been Series 1 or something like that. And it was a case of the windscreen wipers were still a hand switch.
That'd be Series 1.
Yeah, one of them was electric motor. I think it maybe was converted, and the other one was just a handle. You had to just wipe the rain off, then stop. Yeah, so yeah, really basic stuff. But
they were. If I wanted to defrost it in the winter, what I would do was I didn't have the Arctic heating kit, which was a thing. And the actual heater in it, forget it. It's 2.5 ton, 3-4 litre diesel. It's not going to warm up very quickly. I literally had to get a small space heater from in the house, run an extension cable, and put this little fan heater in the back of Land Rover and wait for half an hour till all the ice disappeared, and then it would demist, and then I could drive to work. Anyway, enough on that.
Yes.
So anyway, if you want to win that kit, when this video goes up in about 10 or 15 minutes after we've finished, just put the comment, I miss my Landy. We don't care how you spell it. I miss my Landy. And then we will pick one of the comments at random next Monday, and you will win that kit.
Yeah, you'll win a kit. It's
Yes.
yeah, and just remember that if any of you are out there haven't claimed your kits yet, haven't claimed a prize, maybe you don't see this stream for a few weeks or whatever. When you do, when you send us an email to claim your prize, please remind us what prize it is. We need, because we're giving so much stuff away. There's so much stuff going out, and we get an email. Hi Ted, I won the prize, and you think, which prize?
Which prize?
Yeah, give us a clue. Yeah, give us a clue. Just mention.
But the only way for us to find out is to go back and watch all the videos, which is not practical. So yeah, do say which prize you've won. Yeah,
and I always appreciate it when the guys get sent the email at eModels that they can get their prize out to you. Yeah, brilliant. So, right, is there anything else? Any more questions from you guys out there? I'm just checking the emails to see if anything else comes back in. Tony, I've got your email. Thank you very much. We'll get the mug out to you as soon as we can. Chris Thompson sent me a picture of his U-boat. I'll have a look at that later on. Thank you very much.
Sharman Adrian says I might get a Landy for Christmas, Fox.
Yes, do it. Yeah, great for the snow. Yeah, put some...
no, actually not. They're unstable enough in normal weather. Put them on snow. It's the same instability with less grip.
Right. Okay. I'll stand corrected on that then. I've lost. Yeah.
Dave Wise Rumgo Barker says, Fox, we've had a visit from Pete, mate, but not from Mum yet. No, Mum's downstairs watching her iPad. I can hear it from here.
Is that where the feedback's come from?
Yeah, it could be.
Right.
Because when your phone rings, I hear your phone ring, and then about 10 seconds later, after you've answered the phone, I can hear it ringing downstairs. I'm like, hello. I'm watching an iPad.
Right.
Hi, Mum.
Yeah, hi, Fox's mum. Yeah, no more questions. Not for this week. Chris Williams says, when's the next solar eclipse? Do you know? Google is your friend.
Yes. I can't help thinking there's a penalty for answering that or a joke somewhere, but never mind.
That was a question from last week, which I just ignored last week. Because I didn't know what was happening last week. Yeah. So Chris Williams.
I apologize for last week.
Yeah. So Chris Williams, if you want to know when the next solar eclipse is, Google. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Beyond Hope says, Fox, if you don't want to Delta Fly, how about the sky? I just need to clear my throat. Sorry, I've got a cough.
How about I don't
want to Delta Fly? How about a Space 1999 stun gun? Beyond Hope put up a picture recently of a 3D printed Star Wars Delta Flyer, which, if you don't know what the Delta Flyer is, it is...
Oh, go on, I don't know.
It's one of those. It's like shuttlecraft, but it's obviously a bit bigger than that.
Right.
And I love it. So, yes, I would quite fancy one of those Delta Flyers, but I'll need to get some money first. I've just to buy a whole new PC, so leave it with me. A stun gun, I'll be fine on that one. I'll quite fancy the Delta Flyer, though, but give me a little while to sort it out. I say I've just had to buy the whole new computer bobs. So, soon.
Well, on that note,
TK's off. Thank you, TK. Thanks for being mod.
Yeah, thanks, TK. I think TK's only got home a few hours ago, so yeah.
Oh, by the way, people, don't forget Chris and TK are your mods tonight, so look after them and they'll look after you. Yeah, we forgot that bit, didn't we?
Yeah, they're great. Thanks for your help, guys. Yeah, been great. Right, Shaman says, can you fix a roof with model glue? The household glue? Yeah, you need
what kind of roof?
Yeah,
real roof?
If you mean the house glue, just use some silicon sealant, botch it and bugger off.
You mean a real roof on a real house?
Yeah, just botch it and fly off. Yeah.
Sell the house.
Sell the house.
What Ted's doing is just run it into the ground and sell it.
Yeah, everything's fixed with model glue and tape, and I'm just leaving it.
If you were daring, Ted, you'd leave the avocado bath set in there just to see what happens.
It's a selling point now. Everybody wants an avocado bathroom.
I know, it's 1980s. We've done it again back into the 1980s. We can't help ourselves.
Yeah.
We're talking about Party Sevens next.
Right, everybody looks like they're going to crash out tonight. And sure, I know that Mr. Loth and everybody else have been travelling. And I think we've gone nearly 2 hours. I don't know, last week. Now you're here.
11 of the o'clocks.
Oh, yeah, but it's 2 hours worth.
I don't need to go for a wee.
Before anybody else. No, have you been? Have you been?
I don't need to.
Right. Okay, everyone. Nothing else is happening.
Nope.
Time to go. It's been a great night. Glad to see Fox is back. It's a great relief that he's back.
Yes.
Yes.
Look at your own back when you move house and you've got no internet for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'm just going to make an excuse and not come in next week.
No. That was my excuse. I was frustrated all week.
Right. You say goodbye to them, Fox.
Hey?
You say goodbye. You say goodnight tonight, and I'll just.
Okay. Well, thank you to everybody for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody hanging out in the chat. Remember, next time you watch, if you want to take part in the chat and you're watching from somewhere other than YouTube, click on the YouTube icon at the bottom and you'll be able to join in the live chat.
Yes.
And win stuff in chat. But thank you to everybody who watched. If you're not watching it live, thank you for watching now. Don't forget to put your comment on the video to win the prize. And that'll do us. So from me,
good night.
Something awesome. Adios, amoebas, and all the other catchphrases. Ted, throw a few catchphrases our way.
Well, you've got to slap it on. Yeah. I didn't get it tonight, so you've got to slap it on. Right.
There we go. What more?
Get that tack on tank and slap the mud on. Yeah. So,
need to say nothing more after that now.
So good night, everybody. Good night.
Adios, amoebas.
Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, I can't find the button. Bye, everyone.
Oh, bye.
Bye. Bye. There we go.